Monday Night Raw starts off with Naomi. She ends up cutting a promo. Starts off with the crowd chanting, "You deserve it." Naomi is not having it. Naomi is saying that you guys are feeling me now, but you guys wasn't feeling me back then. That you guys didn't love me back when I was the Glow, but now all of a sudden you guys like me now. She ends up mentioning how she tricked everybody. Everyone thought that she was going to cash in on Tiffany, but she made the unpredictable move, cashing in on the World Heavyweight Championship. Then she ends up saying that, look, she's done with SmackDown. She's done with all the drama between Jade and Bianca. Ends up saying that she outgrew Bianca and that Bianca and Jade only wanted her to be the third wheel in their friendship, and they never wanted her to succeed, and they always wanted her to be a background character. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, they interrupt. Io Sky tells Rhea Ripley that she was the champion going into Revolution, so she should get the first shot at Naomi, and that Rhea Ripley need to go in the back of the line. Naomi ends up responding back, which was hilarious. She ends up saying that she doesn't know what Io Sky said, but she ends up saying that both of them needs to go back to the line. And then you end up getting Adam Pearce. He comes out. He goes on this huge rant about SummerSlam and how it needs to be one of the biggest nights ever and how they need to put stars on the card or whatever. And then he ends up saying that it's going to be a triple threat match at SummerSlam, which I cannot wait for. I love Naomi's response to Io Sky saying that she doesn't know what she just said, because I be feeling that exact same way sometimes when she cuts promos. I be like, what? But this was overall really good segment. It sets up a SummerSlam match, which I can't wait, because that match should be an absolute banger. Because if Rhea Ripley and Io Sky could do what they've been doing for the past few months, adding Naomi should only make it better. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. This is a great way to open the show. I'm assuming Naomi most likely is going to win that match because she just won the title. It's no reason to take it off of her. But man, I was never the biggest Naomi fan, but bro, this heel turn has really made me into a huge Naomi fan. She is one of my favorite things in wrestling in general, bro. Like, it's crazy how much I used to not really care for Naomi, but just a simple heel turn can make someone very interesting. This heel turn has been amazing for her. This is the best work that she has done in her entire career. This is great, especially given the story of her leaving WWE and then coming back and now where she is now. This is great. I love what they're doing with Naomi. This is I could not have predicted this. I never thought Naomi would be in the position she is in right now, to be honest with you. But this is great. This was a great way to open the show, and I can't wait to see what they do with this Naomi run as World Heavyweight Champion. We end up getting a women's tag match between the Kabuki Warriors versus the Judgment Day. This was a championship. This was not a championship match. This was a match to determine whether or not the Kabuki Warriors to get a future championship opportunity against Raquel Roxanne Perez. But unfortunately, they fall short due to Dominic Mysterio interfering in the match, helping Raquel and Roxanne pick up the victory. So they avoid the Kabuki Warriors, still telling the story. And it looks like they're telling the story of Raquel and Roxanne becoming closer and closer as friends. Had a backstage segment. You're still having Dominic Mysterio avoiding AJ Styles, and you telling the story of Raquel getting closer and closer to Roxanne. Both of them are giving each other's praise due to their last match at Evolution. And you still have Finn Balor being, the manipulator and the mastermind behind this entire game plan. So nothing really more here to really say. That was really it for the Judgment Day on tonight's episode of Raw. But to be fair, it didn't need more of Judgment Day on Raw, because overall, this was a jam-packed Raw, and they didn't need more segments. So overall, I like what they did here. This was a really good match. Really enjoyed it. Judgment Day picked up the victory, which makes them look strong. So that's all I'm asking for, is for Roxanne Perez to look strong until Liv Morgan comes back. I'm assuming that's where we're going to pick up when they feud. So I like what they did here. The next match we ended up getting was Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, number one contendership match, a 2 out of 3 falls count match. This match was a banger. This match was an absolute banger. It had an unfortunate, well, I wouldn't say unfortunate, and I was rooting for Bayley in this match. I really was, but I knew Lyra was going to win this match. And it looks like they are going the route that I always thought they was going to go, which I'm not mad at, because the original story was always Lyra and Becky Lynch. It was always Lyra versus Becky, so it only makes sense for it to end with Lyra and Becky, but Lyra Valkyria picks up the victory. This was a banger match. This was a great match. I was really rooting for Bayley. I was hoping that Bayley could get one more shot at the Intercontinental Championship and then maybe do Lyra and Becky Lynch again, but it makes sense. I understand it. Lyra got to get the title that she never should have lost in the first place, so doing it at SummerSlam makes sense to get her that big moment. Triple H typically loves to do the very big moments at SummerSlam anyway. He did it last year with Braun Breaker, LA Knight, so he typically likes doing those huge big moments at like the SummerSlams and WrestleMania, so it makes sense. As much as I would love Bayley to win, I understand why she lost. It's not going to really hurt her in the long run. And plus, this whole story with Becky Lynch and Bayley is to elevate Lyra anyway for the future. So I'm not mad at it. They put on a banger match, and I'm very interested to see how that match plays out because Lyra and Becky Lynch has put on nothing but bangers. Their Halloween Havoc match, absolute banger. Their Backlash match was a banger. Their Money in Bank match was a banger. So I'm expecting this match to be a banger as well. So very interested to see how that match plays out. I'm assuming that SummerSlam will be the end of the rivalry and that Lyra will be your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. I don't know what you go on from there. You could have Bayley go after Lyra and then have Becky Lynch do something else. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. We end up getting the return of Nikki Bella. She ends up facing Chelsea Green due to the interactions they had at the Battle Royal with Nikki Bella. I think Nikki Bella eliminated Chelsea Green, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had Chelsea Green, mocking Nikki Bella and all that. Nikki Bella, of course, picked up the victory. After the match, you end up getting the Secret Harvest. They come out, attack they come out attack Nikki Bella. Then you get Stephanie McCurk comes out, makes the save, and they stand tall. So I'm wondering, is this going to lead to a tag match? Because I'm assuming that Nikki Bella is probably going to have a SummerSlam match because I think this run that she's doing is going to be, I wouldn't say a long-term thing, but I do think that she's going to have a couple matches, be back for a little bit as like a part-timer. So I'm assuming this could lead to a tag match between Stephanie, Nikki Bella versus the Secret Harvest with Chelsea Green, which I don't mind because, like I said, I don't mind Legends returning long as they're not overtaking the spotlight over newer talent and that they're not heavily pushed in the main event scene. The only exceptions when it comes to like main event stuff is maybe Trish Stratus, but it's mainly to put over other talent, if that makes sense. This is a situation where it's not really Chelsea Green is more of a mid-card act, and plus it's not really halting any spotlight over other people, so I don't really mind this. It should be entertaining, should be a fun little, filler feud, so I don't mind it. So if this is the SummerSlam match, I don't hate it, and it should be enjoyable. We end up getting a Gunther promo. He basically ends up talking about Goldberg, talking about how he retired Goldberg, and he ends up wondering what's next for him in the World Heavyweight Championship. Then you get Braun Breaker. He ends up coming out, and him and Paul Heyman, they're cutting a promo. Well, Paul Heyman is cutting the promo. He basically is hyping up Braun Breaker. He's hyping up Braun Breaker. This was a great promo from Paul Heyman. Hype up Braun Breaker as the next future of WWE. Like, he's the guy. He's going to dethrone Gunther. He's going to face Gunther at SummerSlam. And then he's going to be the next WWE superstar. He's going to be the multi-time main eventer. He's the next guy up, basically. Then it transitioned into the gauntlet match between Braun Breaker, Penta, CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. This was a really fun match. Really fun match. Braun Breaker made it all the way into the last contestant, which was CM Punk, who eventually ended up being his downfall. CM Punk is the one who picks the victory, and CM Punk is going to he's going to be the one to go to SummerSlam to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. But after the victory, you get Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They attack CM Punk. Then Jey Uso tries to come and help CM Punk, but he fails, and he gets outnumbered by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Then we get the return, possibly of the year, the most shocking return of the year. Roman Reigns comes back to work. He attacks Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and he makes the save for Jey Uso and CM Punk, and he ends up lifting up Jey Uso. And that's how we end the show, with him staring down CM Punk a bit, and then he ends up staring at Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. This was a great overall Raw. Very shocked that Roman Reigns returned because we didn't have no idea when he was going to return, especially because Seth Rollins' injury, that we all assumed that feud wasn't going to continue because Seth Rollins is out. So it's like, how are you going to continue that feud without Seth Rollins? But they brought him back. I'm happy he's back. Very interested to see what they do at SummerSlam, because the only thing I can see right now is that if they're going to continue the Seth Rollins storyline, the only thing I can see right now is that they do Roman and Jey versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That's what I'm seeing, because CM Punk is going to face Gunther, so you're not doing that match. And Seth Rollins injured, and you're going to continue the Seth Rollins storyline. The only thing I'm seeing right now that makes sense is Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns, which I'm not mad at. It's a big enough match, should be an entertaining match, and the story makes sense because Jey's been feuding with Seth Rollins for a bit. Roman's been feuding with Seth Rollins his entire career, so I think it makes sense. Very interested to see how that plays out. Overall, this was a great Raw. This was one of the best Raws of 2025. This was a really great show from top to bottom, but you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.